The first South practice in full pads is in the books here at Ladd-Peebles Stadium. Rob Lee Hockey and the executive director of the Reese Senior Bowl, Phil Savage. A little post-practice analysis from Mr. Savage here. We talked about the O-line and the D-line after the North practice this morning. Let's do the same thing here with the South. Who stood out here in full pads to you?
Well, I thought two players stood out in particular for the South on the offensive line. Left tackle Morgan Moses, a giant of a man, University of Virginia. He really was just the Rock of Gibraltar at the left tackle position. And then Gabe Jackson, 339-pound left guard from Mississippi State, really knows how to anchor down, secure the pocket. He was outstanding in the one-on-ones.
Both those are big boys right there. But what about on the defensive line? Who stood out?
Well, the defensive line, there were a couple players to me. Will Sutton had a sensational day yesterday, continued in that path today. Of course, he's the upfield penetrator from Arizona State at the defensive tackle spot. And then two outside rushers. Chris Smith, to a degree, from Arkansas, had some flashes of outside rush potential, but then Dee Ford has been the star of the show. Auburn University defensive end, has not played a lot of linebacker here, has primarily been coming off the corner. He can dip his shoulder, he can bend, he can spin inside. He's used an array of moves. I think he's the player to me so far that's done the most to help himself in the draft.
Well, he really came on at the end of the season, of course, was a big factor for Auburn on its march to the national championship game. I want to get back to Will Sutton really quickly. Here's a guy who was 285 last year, and he's well above that and almost pushing 320 now. But he says, he took a lot of criticism this year. His numbers were down, but he said he was double teamed a lot of the year. And did he show well in the one-on-ones? Because he's facing just one guy now, not two.
Well, in the drills, and then of course the one-on-ones, absolutely. Yeah. And he's trying to lose some weight. He's at 315. He's wanting to get back down around that 305 level because it will help his quickness. But as we transition from those guys to the skill players, a couple of prospects that I thought were very impressive today. Lorenzo Taliaferro, running back from Coastal Carolina. He was absolutely the best in the one-on-one pass protection against blitzing linebackers. That's a trait and a technique that is lost in college, and he stepped right on the field today, did an outstanding job. Walt Aikens, small school corner out of Liberty. He looks like a pro, he's built like a pro, and he's playing like a pro so far out on the left corner spot. And then I thought of all the quarterbacks going back to this morning and this afternoon, Derek Carr from Fresno State was the player that manipulated the football and negotiated it through the wind the most here today.
And this was not an easy day to throw the football. It was very windy here at the stadium, about 20-mile-an-hour winds. And the quarterback struggled a little bit with that, but this is very difficult, and you're trying to get timing patterns with receivers you've just met. But Carr has really been throwing some bullets today.
Yeah, he's got an absolute hose. He's got a live arm. He's got explosiveness in his release. The ball really jumps out of his hand. And after all of this today, he and Jordan Matthews from Vanderbilt and Mike Davis from Texas go post-practice and work on some of those timing things that you just mentioned.
Yeah, that shows well with the NFL scouts. We'll have more reports here at SeniorBowl.com as we approach day 3 from the Reese Senior Bowl.